Welcome back. 365 Sports here live in Orlando. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties here. We are back, though, and coming to you live. In a second, we're going to talk to the crowd here, but Baylor and UCF tomorrow. That is why one of the reasons we're here covering the game. Plus, we just wanted to meet some fans from Orlando because this city has been so great to us when we have grown so much over the last couple of years. Once UCF was announced in the conference, really the city of Orlando and UCF fans really opened their arms and watched our show just a lot. So super happy to be here. A big game tomorrow outside the Big 12. It's going to be really interesting. It's LSU and Ole Miss. Ole Miss really laid an egg last week when they had an opportunity to take Alabama down a peg for the first time in a while and did not. Alabama found themselves a little bit offensively in the second half and might have figured out what it was. So, what's going on with them and their offense. But I'm curious to see what happens down the line with that one. I think LSU is right now the best team in the SEC West, which has not been as good as it has been in the past and as dominant. So they could really make a statement there with a win, either team. And again, this is statement weekend, or maybe prove that you can be something weekend if you were Ole Miss. And Jack, are we back or? Okay, good deal. I was going to hop in the chat. I know we had a super chat there, and I missed it on the old chat. So thank you for that. It was from a Cyclone fan. They've got Oklahoma this weekend. That's going to be a really tough game for them, I think.
Yeah, I believe it was something along the lines of he will be here this weekend despite being a Cyclone fan. So hopefully he has a good time, and we're sorry we lost the chat.
Yeah, so are we back in the same stream or a new one, Jack? I was just trying to find it.
It's a new stream.
A new stream. Okay,
That's why we lost most of the viewers.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find. There we are. Just trying to find it. If you come back to us, we love you. Thank you. Yeah, everyone's on. Matt Dolan, thank you. Charge on 365. Charge back on 365. Yeah, so had to scramble a little bit, but Iowa State, Oklahoma, might be kind of more of a defensive game, just because of the way that things have gone. I don't know, Jack. I'm a hard time putting my finger on what Iowa State's going to be from week to week this year, because they had that great win against Oklahoma State, who really, their backs are completely against the wall right now, and there's no end in sight for their offensive problems.
Yeah, I have no idea what to make of that game between the Pokes and the Cyclones, because I thought that was going to be an absolute defensive struggle, figuring neither offense could do much.
31-24, right?
Yeah, but they ended up putting up over 50 points combined. So I'm still at a loss.
Yeah, I don't know. And again, we're going to be in a situation, if you're watching Oklahoma State, where they don't know who their quarterback's going to be, and they're not going to know at any point, I don't think. I don't think anybody's going to be able to jump up and take the reins there, because if they were, you would think maybe they already would have. They're rotating through three quarterbacks. It's not a situation you ever want to be in. So, yeah, that is unfortunate for them and what's gone on with Oklahoma State and their quarterbacks. And it's just the weirdest thing. I just never thought in a million years that would be the thing that undid Oklahoma State. Gundy's always got quarterbacks. He's always got somebody who can play quarterback and roll through, but that was just not what's going on there, and they've got problems on top of problems. So, Jack, let's take a break right here. Let's reset. I can get Josh on, and we can roll through the next part of the hour. But, yeah, let's take a break here, make sure we're all reset. Thanks for hopping back on. Let people find us again on the new stream. This is 365 Sports live at Bounce House Social in Orlando.
The right call can make all the difference on and off the field. I'm Mark Stewart with Bird Colgan Ford. When it's time for a new car, truck, or SUV, Bird Colgan Ford is the right call. Come check out our award-winning lineup of best-selling models in their class, like the Mustang, Explorer, Expedition, F-150, and Super Duty. Make the right call for your next vehicle at Bird Colgan Ford. Bird Colgan Ford proudly supports Baylor Athletics. Sic 'em Bears.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwood Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
Baylor Scott & White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physicians for Baylor Athletics, diagnosing and treating all sports-related injuries, including concussions. These specialists also provide orthopedic services for athletes and non-athletes alike, whether it's knee or shoulder pain, a wrist injury, orthopedic spine care, and even an arthritis and total joint clinic. Trust the doctors Baylor Athletics trust. Baylor Scott & White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics wants to get you back in the game.
Waco Custom Marketplace is your hometown grocery store with a full-service butcher shop and bakery. Hi, this is David Smoke. Butcher Shop can take your customized orders for seafood, pork, and poultry and custom cut your favorite steaks from bacon wrap fillets to T-bone to bone-in ribeyes. Cut specifically the way you want. They have Norwegian salmon fillets, catfish fillets, sliced ham or turkey and lunch meat, variety of cheese available, and several options of sausage links, fresh chicken breast or whole chickens, sliced bacon, pork chops, ground beef, marinated beef, and chicken fajitas, and always large briskets available, plus fresh vegetables. So the great product, customer service, and family tradition of the Bauer family continues at Waco Custom Marketplace, open Monday through Saturday. A full-service butcher shop and bakery available. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
This is 365 Sports.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
Welcome back, 365 Sports. We might have to... Josh is finishing another interview. We'll call him in just a second. So... 365 Sports live here at Bounce House Social. And hold on, let's get it. You know what? I think there's a time for we need to meet our intern, Jack. What do you think? Yeah. All right. Alex, come over here. Come here, Alex. This is Alex Acevedo, who is a student here. Turn the mic on. The first thing you got to learn in this business is turn the mic on. Hold it up close. Okay. Another thing. So this is Alex. She's our intern. She's going to be here. If you have a question, you can come up and tell Alex your name and where you're from, and we'll have you on the air here in a little bit. But Alex, I wanted people to get to know you, so when you just popped on screen, they wouldn't be like, oh, who is this person that's on the screen? You are a freshman at the University of Alabama,
yes,
correct?
I am. It's been great so far. You know, I just got there a few months ago. I'm excited. You know, our quarterbacks aren't looking that great, but football, you know, we love it, and it's been great.
Okay, so you want to be in this business, correct?
Yes, I do.
In the sports business.
I
so
do.
what is your goal overall? Like,
you know, I've had some opportunities. I've seen the College Game Day set on person. I was invited for the Georgia-Tennessee game last year, and it's been great. But, you know, I just want to be able to learn. I'm excited to be here and just, like, see how it all is. No matter who's playing, I'm just excited for the opportunity.
All right, so you're a Bama student. I know that you told me that your dream school was Florida State.
Yes,
right?
go Noles, yes.
So, yeah, there we go. Okay, so we approve of that. All right, who are your favorite sports teams?
Just football or anything? in general?
Anything. Like
Well, my dad went to Florida State.
Okay, so
Florida State is, I love them. They're my
Okay.
favorite. But my mom went to USC. So
Okay.
I've been to a few USC games. It's far, but I love Caleb Williams. We were excited last year when he won the Heisman. He's been great.
Okay. So do you have like pro football teams? Like who's your, like, are you a Buck? You grew up down here, so
I mean,
you're a
yeah,
Bucks fan?
Bucks just because, here. But I also like the Vikings, but, Dalvin Cook, he just transferred, so it doesn't really matter anymore. But I liked watching the Vikings when I was little.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good deal. Okay. You're done for now.
All right,
I just wanted to
sounds
give
good.
you your first little debut
Yes.
there. And thanks to Ingenuity Air, you can see one of our sponsors here, Ingenuity Air and Marine Homes. There's Dustin. Is that Dustin over there?
I'm good.
There's Dustin. Yeah, you're good. You can go now. So there you go. Alex just made her debut. She's got potential, Jack. Got potential. I think we need to go market to market and just find interns in every one of them.
That just sounds a little weird, but sure.
So I don't know.
You're gonna have them doing Zoom hits every game day.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. Absolutely, we'll do that. So, alrighty. We're gonna have to we're just gonna have to take Josh on the fly.
We're taking Josh hot.
We're gonna take Josh on the fly.
Okay.
All right, Josh Neighbors.
Yep.
There you go. Sorry, we had to take you on the fly there. Josh Neighbors joins us. We're live in Orlando. Josh is out and about. You normally have Josh on Zoom, but Josh, a wild weekend last weekend in college football. Kind of sets up an interesting one. Big 12-wise, there are some critical things that have to happen, and we'll start at the bottom. Houston and Texas Tech, like, this game is the season saver game for either team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of down at this point in time. Like, I'm pretty down on Houston. I think it's pretty safe to say that Houston is not a team to do. That win against UTSA was great, but after that, they've really just been downhill ever since. So I think that I think for them it kind of feels like it's trending the wrong way, and I think Texas Tech's got a better chance to do so, in my opinion. But I'm not confident. Either of these teams looking too good.
Josh, what do you think is the biggest problem that Tech has?
I think it's their pace of play. I think to me that's the biggest issue is that, like, I really do believe that when you play like that, you're going to be in some really close games. And so, and there's going to be a lot of swings in those games. There's going to be a lot of times where it's up and down, and they have to manage a lot better the swings in the other direction. The Wyoming game, it swung back towards Wyoming, and they did a terrible job of managing that lead. And in the Oregon game, they made the more mistakes in the end of the game. Last week, they got themselves behind and couldn't make it up. And I think that, hey, you're going to go your possessions are only going to last sometimes, a minute or a minute and a half. And you can't stack those possessions to put your defense on the field goal. So they have to manage that.
Josh, Baylor and UCF, that's the game we're here covering. UCF not great on defense. Baylor not great at anything yet. How do you see this one shaking out?
Yeah, it's crazy to see Baylor as a 11.5, 12-point underdog. That is a really strange thing for me to see, against the UCF team. But I think UCF, the one thing they've done pretty well is, like, they've got so many skill players that the fact that the quarterback, they lost John Rice Plumlee. And so I think that I don't feel comfortable with the number, but UCF to me has more weapons. It's not a good defense, but we're not talking about a Baylor offense that's good at taking advantage of situations like this so far throughout the season. Even with Sawyer Robertson's backup in, it's just not been an offense that inspires any kind of confidence at all.
What do you think about UCF moving forward as long as they have to with Timmy McClain at quarterback?
Yeah, so I think for them this year, with Timmy McClain at quarterback, like I think it's obviously not going to be as good as John Rice Plumlee, but I think it's still got a shot to be good because once again they've got so many of these good skill players and they're a well-coached team. Like I think K-State's the second best team in the league, and last week that was a game in the fourth quarter. So Gus Malzahn has managed this thing to a point, in my opinion, where they've got a chance to do this, to be competitive. In any game they play, and the defense has to get better. But offensively, it seems like they can bang people. They can score. So I would be encouraged on the UCF end because of that.
All right, Kansas and Texas is the best game of the week, as far as matchup ranked to ranked. This is the first time in this rivalry that each of these teams has been good at the same, let's say, rivalry, or in their series. It's not a rivalry, although it might be for Texas now that Kansas has jumped up and bitten them a couple times. But what do you think this one does? Because both these teams are really good. Kansas can score on anybody. They may not be able to stop Texas in the key moments, but I don't think this is going to be an easy one in Austin for the Horns.
Yeah, so I think the one thing Kansas does really well is they manage pace. Like you talk about Texas Tech not doing it, because Kansas completes a lot of their passes and they're a really good running team. They have the ability to shorten games and keep the clock moving. So if they can do that, they'll actually put themselves, the big key for them is you want to limit possessions. And then once you limit possessions, you need to get red zone stops. So this Texas offense is a lot better than the KU defense. But if you're able to get stops in the red zone, then you're going to be in really good shape. And I think that there's a chance they could get some of those red zone stops. Now, Texas red zone offense is bad. The red zone defense for KU is bad. So that'll be a fun matchup there. But yeah, I really do think that that Kansas has a chance because of how good their quarterback is. And if you go back and watch the Alabama tape, there were some opportunities there for KU or for Alabama to take advantage. Like there were some opportunities for sure, but Milroe didn't make the throws. Daniels is a bit better at making those throws, and I think it gives them more of a chance. I had to think it might be a route on Texas, or KU kind of wins it outright type situation.
Jack is picking West Virginia to beat TCU. Could he be right?
No, their offense can't score with TCU. I think as good as the West Virginia defense has been, I mean, if it's Nico Marchiol back there, I don't have enough confidence in Nico Marchiol as a quarterback, to lead them. And I mean, he was terrible last year. He had a really difficult time moving up and down the field at all. The defense won them that game, and this offense is a lot better than the defense is the other way.
Whose defense is better, though, TCU's or Tech's?
TCU's. I think TCU's defense is better than Tech.
Okay, well then, yeah, that lines up.
Josh Neighbors, the Neighborhood Watch on Crystal Ball College Football. Josh, around the country, a couple of interesting ones. LSU and Ole Miss. You were talking about Jalen Milroe, when he played against Texas. Last week, he kind of found a little bit of his stride against Ole Miss late in that game. And Ole Miss missed an opportunity to really put Alabama away, out of the race. And, people, kick some dirt on them. They didn't do that. Now they got LSU. Now, granted, they're coming into the Grove, but still, I think LSU is the best team in a down SEC West. I don't know if Ole Miss can really, if they couldn't get Jalen Milroe under control in the second half, what are they going to do with Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, and Daniels seems to be, I saw him last week against Arkansas. He's definitely on the same page as the receivers right now. The problem for them was the defense. And once that offense gets cooking, it's really hard to stop. And I don't know if, Ole Miss has the horses to check them on the outside. And was not impressed with Ole Miss's offense last week. It was not an offense that felt like they were taking advantage of a lot of situations where they could have caught Alabama. And for as much as Lane Kiffin talks, you think they catch in a bit more. But I know people are a bit weary. This line has not really moved at all. A lot of the wagers are coming in on LSU, but the line kind of stayed there. So I think there's some money backing the Rebels this week. I think them being at home obviously is big, but things for Lane Kiffin kind of go in two directions. Either it's consistently up or, kind of going down. So I think that I'll take LSU. Survived last week. I think going on the road and how well their offense playing, I'm not going to pick against that team. Also, they have a better coach. I think Brian Kelly is a fantastic coach. And Lane Kiffin's good, but his talent's worse, and I'll take Brian Kelly with better talent, too.
Notre Dame at Duke is an interesting one now for the first time ever in the history of Notre Dame ever playing Duke, because you would not have said that even with Notre Dame being bad and Duke being bad. There would have been a boring game, but here they are. Notre Dame is reeling from that last-second loss to Ohio State. Duke is one of the physically toughest teams that you will play. So does Notre Dame get back on track this week?
Yeah, I think that the interesting matchup here is Notre Dame's wide receivers against the secondary for Duke, because Duke took a bunch of transfers. They're pretty good in the back end. And Mike Elko is a fantastic coach. You can tell Mike Elko is one of those guys, the coordinator, like even at Wake Forest. You can tell this guy has had the chops to be a head coach, and going to a place like Duke, I'm not sure he's long for a place like that, but I think that's kind of the matchup to watch. Notre Dame's had a ton of success against ACC teams as of late, but this is a fun coaching matchup because right now Notre Dame's coaching is what's being criticized multiple times last week, 10 men on the field, and so they have to recover from that. I think there will be enough, there'll be some Notre Dame fans who, this is such a big opportunity for Duke. And I know they beat Clemson, but Clemson beat them in that game. They didn't punt in the second half of the game, and they didn't score. So that kind of tells you what was happening with Clemson's offense. And I think as bad as Notre Dame's offense looked last week at times, they still have the ability to take the top off. So they'll take some risks. Good secondary from Duke, but I think Notre Dame's got the horses to go there and win that game.
Yeah, I think that Notre Dame will have a bit of a better offensive performance this week. Both those teams, Ohio State and Notre Dame, it felt like they were both playing without oxygen for a long time. And then they would breathe for a second and score, and then it just the whole time it was so tense.
Yeah, that game, that last drive, if you go back and watch it, how long it actually took, it was a 15-play drive for Ohio State. They ended up taking a minute and 55 seconds, I think. And, because it was third and down, fourth down the entire time. But I was really impressed because Kyle McCord wasn't that good, but he was really good on that drive. I think Ryan Day's enthusiasm after the game kind of mirrored that. I was like, wow, I was so impressed with having to have it on every single play. And that talent will do for you in a lot of situations like that. And that's kind of always been a problem. That's why Brian Kelly's no longer at Notre Dame. That was just all right, we're going to keep throwing it to Becca Ibuka. We're going to throw it, to tight ends. We're going to throw it to Marvin Harrison Jr. And they got every conversion they needed to. And just, a terrible gaffe there at the end because Kip Trainum runs right where the Notre Dame wasn't because the guy was off the field. So I think it's a good bounce back spot. I think it's kind of clear your head, big spot, but also a team you can handle from a talent perspective. So I like the Irish chances.
All right, tonight we got Utah and Oregon State. Oregon State came roaring back, but could not get it done against Wazoo, if I'm trying to win the Pac-12 title, Wazoo is one of the last teams I want to play because I think they might actually wind up playing for the championship. The way that Cam Ward's been, I know there's a lot of season left to go in Washington and USC and Oregon and all those still exist. But that was a really great game last week. Oregon State has more offense than Utah right now. We don't know when Keim Rising's ever going to play again for Utah. Is this the night that Utah's defense finally gives up one more point than they should and lose, or can they keep grinding people into a powder?
Yeah, you kind of wonder when does the dam break, but Oregon State's not the kind of team that makes the dam break, I guess, in that sense. I do think they just lack so much punch on offense. I mean, you watched last week, they scored 7 points on offense. I mean, they have the pick six, against UCLA. And DJ's up against it, man. I mean, in big games, he has not been very good. And this is an excellent challenge. And so I think if you're a Utah fan, you do feel encouraged. He's a great defense going up against a quarterback who's not been good in big games. But Oregon State's coming back home. I think they understand the magnitude of games like this, especially in a season like this. They're about to have a conference next year. You're trying to make a point. You're trying to be as relevant of a program as possible, and every win helps in that respect. So I think it's a massive night for Jonathan Smith and that program, and I think they'll be prepared and be ready. 4 points, I feel like this can be a field goal type game, but you see what Utah is missing across the board, and it feels like if Oregon State can force them into a couple of mistakes on their end of the field tonight, then that might just be it, because Utah's offense, I don't know if Cam Rising's come back. Frank Keefe's not playing, and they're missing guys up front as well, too. So I'm pretty confident that this Utah team is one of the best coach teams in the entire country, but the clock might strike midnight because they've been playing with fire for a couple games now.
All right. Did your opinion about Colorado change at all last week?
No, I actually think I kind of like their chances this week to be competitive. I think Deion Sanders knew what was coming last week. He was pretty quiet. But, that was a freight train coming at them with Oregon, and Oregon was motivated. Oregon's a lot better up front than Colorado is, and that was hammer and nail. I've never really liked Alice Grinch defenses, So I feel like this week is less of a hammer and nail type situation, just because, you never know how many points USC's defense will give up, because it's not a. I don't think they're like extremely talented, and Alex Grinch doesn't do a whole lot for me, especially when it comes to the fundamentals for his defenses. So I think this game has a chance to be a lot closer. I think Oregon looks a lot tougher up front on both sides than USC does at this point. So my opinion didn't really change, because I didn't think they were that good of a team. I just think that people were talking about it because that TCU game carries so much weight, and beating Nebraska was a big game. The Colorado State game was a lot of fun, but, I think we kind of know what this team is in the end. I've always likened them to last year's Kansas team. They started off hot, but once that depth is tested, that's the one thing they have to build. They took so many transfers, and these guys are not really strong players in their places before. Like, they weren't playing a lot. So as the depth gets tested, like we saw with KU last year, I think their ability to keep playing at a high level on both sides, or, maintain a high level, or a winning level at least, on either side of the ball is going to diminish, especially with how bad their defense is. Right? Like, Kansas would score 35 points in games last year against Baylor and OU. They just give up 50. So I think that's kind of where this thing's headed for Colorado, although they will pick off a few teams with Pac-12 along the way.
Josh, you doing a high school game tonight?
Yes, I'm in the vehicle right now. We are heading to Searcy for Searcy against El Dorado.
All right, break that one down for us.
You know what? My prep was going to be done in the car on the way there. Once I got the phone with you all. So TBD on that one.
Okay. All right. Josh Neighbors, the Neighborhood Watch on the Crystal Ball College Football. Thanks for hopping on, Josh. It was last minute. I appreciate it every time we have you. Enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks, Paul. You too.
All right. Josh Neighbors. I think we just need to go ahead and make that a regular segment, don't we, Jack? We absolutely do. He's been fantastic every single time on Fridays. We're going to break down some more stuff about the game this weekend. We're going to have a weather report from a weather expert. I'm going to tell you the story about that after he gives us the weather. He's a weather expert. You're lucky I'm here because of this weather expert.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you'll like the story. You'll enjoy it. It's a good one. Not one of my smarter moments, and certainly not one of his. But the question is, who's dumber? The one who gave the bad advice or the one who listened to it? That's the question. We'll do that later in the show. Darby's going to come by and hang out with us. Darby and Royden are here in town. They're on their way. Plus, we've got John McClain and a cast of thousands here in Orlando at Bounce House Social Eats. This is 365 Sports.
In our logo and advertising, we say we are people that you can count on. What does that mean? It starts with providing a quality vehicle and quality service at a fair price. But it also means we do what we say we will do, and we treat people fairly with respect. It starts by hiring great people, good local folks who work hard with a caring attitude. Our employees are the real reason we are people that you can count on. Put us to the test and see for yourself that at Richard Carr Motors, we are people you can count on.
Shorty's Pizza Shack at 12th and Bagby is a homegrown, locally owned pizza place that's out of this world. Everything from the dough, the sauce, the sausage topping is made fresh in-house. Not to mention the amazing pizza pillows, the chicken wings are to die for. Try the Sikkim sauce, chili cheese fries or tots, plus great specials on food and drink every single day. Shorty's is also the perfect spot to watch the game with your friends. Shorty's Pizza Shack at 12th and Bagby. Tell them Paul sent you by.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
TFNB Your Bank for Life is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texans are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB, your bank for life. Member FDIC.
Three Nations Brewing Company has 16 different beers on draft with a new beer every Friday. It also offers 2 air-conditioned tap rooms, a large indoor beer hall, a second-floor mezzanine offering a great overview of the brewing company and equipment and patio where you can relax under the shade. Plus, you can now experience the new Three Nations Beer Garden Grill on our shaded patio. Grab a cold beer and enjoy a bite from our freshly prepared and delicious menu. Street tacos, quesadillas, freshly cooked burgers and dogs, and veggie burgers too. Nachos and so much more, all prepared and cooked on site. So come visit the award-winning Three Nations Brewing Company on East Vandergrift off I-35 in Carrollton.
The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozer's Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house.
Now here's Paul Catalina.
Welcome back to Bounce House Social Eats here, and it's been great to be back in my home state. I guess this is my home state as much as anything. I mean, I lived here a very long time, went to college here in Tallahassee, and a good friend of mine, Dave Peters, has hopped down, and I normally don't take the opportunity to put my friends on the show, Dave, but there are 2 of us, and actually if you count Ryan's son, Mac, 3 people that are lucky to be here. And we'll tell that story in a second. But you're a meteorologist, right?
Yes, by training back in my days at Florida State, where you went as well. I studied meteorology, yes.
Yes, but you just now.
Not really a practicing meteorologist, right? But I still enjoy the weather.
Is there such thing as is there an amateur meteorologist or?
For sure, we have plenty of amateur meteorologists out there.
Yeah, I mean, but you're would you chase storms?
I think it would. I guess I'm one of those people who would find that fun. Okay. I have not, but it does sound like something would be fun.
Okay. Yeah, Dave was my boss, Jack, for a little while. 3 years, I think. 3, 4, I don't know. However long it was. It was so glorious. But Dave, it's been misty and rainy and all right, how much is that going to affect the game tomorrow, Baylor and UCF?
It does, as I've checked the weather, so this actually could be a real forecast, but it does look a little rainy tomorrow, quite honestly. We do have about a 70% chance of rain, and so that's going to be a worry. I think may change some of the complexity of the game tomorrow.
Yeah.
That just sounded good.
Yeah.
Professional.
Yeah. We might, I might get Dave to just do a weather report for key games around the country all again. And we're just going to say, non-practicing meteorologist, Dave Peters. We'll get you, I'll send you a green screen and you put a map of it. It doesn't matter. I don't practice.
All I need is a green screen. That is it. I'm ready. It just automatically, it's like riding a bike. It comes back.
You just put a map. You got to get your yeah. So let's tell the story, Dave. While we're here, we might as well have some good times and memories on YouTube and the internet. And I do want our viewers to hear the story. So I came to visit you, Ryan and I, who's here. We came to visit you in 2004. We had both been graduated for a little while.
Yep.
It came up. We stayed. I don't know if we stayed at your house or someone else's house, but we stayed with you. We went to a game. FSU, I believe, lost that game. And then we had to go home the next day, although I was like, I don't need to. My boss has already given me the day off. Ryan was afraid to go home or not go home because he had a new job.
Sure.
And didn't think that they would close for a hurricane. But I believe it was Hurricane Jean that we
Sounds
went
about
through.
right.
Maybe I can't remember, but that was that year. So we, not knowing any other non-practicing meteorologists, came to you.
Sure.
The person we were, in fact, eating breakfast with that day.
Well, studied it a little bit, so thanks for,
Yes.
good person to ask.
Yeah, so we asked you, and I was sitting there waiting for you to say, guys, you're stupid. No way. You did not say that, though.
I think I gave you a few options, Paul,
you did.
as I remember the story.
You did. You did. But one of those options did not need to go into it. That's what I was hoping for you.
I did try not to sell that option. Unfortunately, I think it might have been Ryan who took that one.
He did.
And was he driving the car?
No, I was.
Oh, well, in that case, he was very...
We drove into a hurricane. We got to Lake City. It was terrible. Listen, I'm going to say this right now. Don't drive in a hurricane.
No.
Don't do it. There's no reason to do it. Like Jim Cantori doesn't even do it. He just gets to a place and stands.
Yes.
Yeah, he stands in a hurricane, doesn't drive him.
Right.
Much safer to stand than to drive if those come up. But we had to pull off and stay in Lake City, and it took even convincing then for me to do it. But Dave, I'm happy to see you, even though you did almost murder me.
Well, and again, we're glad you survived. I appreciate that. And, I think my weather skills have gotten better since, if that's any consolation.
Good deal. So, Dave still works at Florida State, and I have given him the charge of bring home an ACC title or else.
We're going to do our best this year to do that.
Yeah. So good to see you, Dave.
Good to see you, Paul. Glad to have you back.
All right, there we go. So there's Dave Peters. So, Jack, have you thought about the fact that you may not be sitting here with me right now?
Many times. Many times.
Yeah. I'll get Ryan to tell you his half of that story.
It's the sweet dream I have every few nights.
It's not.
There's only one other dream that makes me happier.
Yeah. It was. Oh my God.
Did you just get that?
I just got it. Look, it's crazy, but that's Florida for you, man. That is absolutely Florida. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to set up another guest here who was trying to get here and got stuck in traffic. So,
who might that be? Are you trying to keep it a surprise?
No, I mean, it's Brandon Hellwig, who we had on the show earlier this week, but just kind of wanted to get his perspective on everything that's kind of gone on this week and the Big 12 and all that. So,
yeah,
because he was on the show earlier this week, but yeah, just he's here and get the vibe of it all and the Big 12 opener and everything that's happened. So, but yeah, no, that was wild. That was wild time. So, Jack. We haven't talked about our Deion Sanders quotient on a talk show today, so I think we need to hit it.
Okay.
Josh had a really good point in the last segment about, look, I thought it was weird that so many people either jumped off or tried to reiterate the Deion bandwagon, and to me, look, what's different about what happened last week? What should be different? Nobody should have expected him to win. I don't think Deion. He was hoping that they could, but at the end of the day, it was not going to happen.
Yeah, and I think it's just the nature of Deion to want to have people not expecting a blowout. I mean, any head coach doesn't want people to expect a blowout around his program, but it's especially in the nature of a Deion Sanders run program where they're never going to admit that that's even a possibility. They thrive on giving people a reason to tune in. Frankly, it's great. It's great from a programming perspective, and so I think that anyone that looked closely at the teams in that matchup was there's a solid chance that what happened happens, and I do think that it's a learning experience for Deion, and they won't let it happen to that degree again. It's just going to be curious to see what happens at USC if it comes close to that, or if they really make it a game because the matchup is better.
I think the matchup might be a little bit better than Oregon. And look, when USC and Oregon play in a week, I expect that nothing's going to change my opinion about how that game is going to go unless Colorado somehow blows out USC, which I don't think is going to happen because I don't think Colorado's going to do that to many teams this year because that's not really the nature of their defense. They have rebooted themselves enough to where they can be in shootouts and win in shootouts, and that's what they're going to have to do, and that's fine because they couldn't win in any kind of game last year. They won one game, so any way that you're winning all of a sudden is good. So if they're doing that, but I think USC and Caleb Williams it's going to be kind of probably similar in that defensively they're not going to have answers for Marshawn Lloyd and Brendan Rice and Zachariah Branch and all that.
Yeah.
Colorado will get their share of big plays in, I think, because USC is not going to rush the passer quite to the level that Oregon did, but that offensive line is a problem for Colorado, and the defensive line is a problem for Colorado, and that's the hardest part to go into the transfer portal and just fix in a year, because you can get 2 wide receivers and all of a sudden you're more dynamic, but if you need, 8 new offensive linemen like Colorado needed, and you're hoping 3 of them are good, it's harder. It's a lot harder.
So a third of the way into the season, where do you think the general college football fan base as a whole is on Deion in Colorado? Do you think more people are rooting for him or more people are rooting against him? And how do you feel like that's changed over these 4 weeks?
I don't think it's changed. I think you have 2 camps, and if it were an election, it would be one of those things where 3 o'clock in the morning, they're still sitting at the desk going well, we're waiting for New Hampshire's 17th district to come in to figure out what that's going to go on there. That's how That's how divisive it is.
Everyone just feels more strongly what they already felt at the start of the season. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, like, maybe he'll get some converts. But again, there were people. I watched the Deion's double play 30 for 30 the other night about the day he played, baseball and football, and how mad that certain people were that happened.
People were mad about that?
The Braves were furious. Bobby Cox, John Schulerholtz. Look, Tim McCarver wore him out of it. Like, and I remember this from when being a kid. Like, after they won to go to the pennant, to go to the World Series, Deion went and, like, threw a bunch of water on Tim McCarver. Like, he went and got ice, like a melted bucket of ice out of the training room. So people's feet had been in that more than likely. And just threw that in his face.
Feet.
Yeah, so it wasn't Deion's proudest moment, or maybe most mature, but the entire time Tim McCarver had just been wearing the dude out about, how can you do this to your team in a pennant race and all this. And from Deion's perspective, it was, he had told them how it was going to be, and then they thought it was a stunt, but he was there and available and didn't say he was going to play. He didn't play in that game. Bobby Cox intentionally didn't put him in. And so, I think he's just a divisive guy because some people aren't used to that much bravado in a human being.
I mean, it definitely rubs me the wrong way. It's not a guy I'd want to play for, but at a certain point, you can't deny his success, and you can't deny that he speaks to a group of people in a good way. And overall, it's going to help those people. He's going to help guys get from high school to a college, hopefully pick up an education on the way, and hopefully also realize some NFL dreams.
It's good. Look, college football, everything needs a shakeup. We don't know how long it's going to last.
I think he's great for one major thing, and it's figuring out the fullest extent of the rule changes that have happened over the last 5 years and the realignment that's happened over the last 5 years. He is going to push every boundary so much and so quickly that we are going to figure a lot of things out about either how well or how poorly the transfer portal goes for college football. Same for NIL. I really, truly believe that. And I think realignment is going to be that much more interesting because of the new matchups that will feature him.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. We're going to have Brandon Hellwig right here, and he's going to give us kind of the vibe of everything that's going on. This is 365 Sports, live from Bounce House Social Eats, here on 365 Sports.
Ingenuity Air is a mechanical contracting provider for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning services, specializing in residential HVAC systems, maintenance, service, and installations. We provide reliable mechanical solutions for families and businesses in Central Florida. We strive to be the best mechanical service provider for homeowners, business owners, and general contractors in our community, providing effective, efficient, and reliable mechanical solutions and maintenance throughout Central Florida and surrounding areas. We believe in the importance of keeping homes and businesses comfortable and safe, and we understand the challenges that come with HVAC issues and want to help by providing reliable, trustworthy, and effective solutions to make a positive impact on our community. And going on right now through football season, all UCF students or alumni can receive 10% off Ingenuity Air services of up to $500 off the replacement of a system. Contact us at ingenuityair.com or 407-391-1145. Looking for a new house? Let Meridian Homes build you the house of your dreams. Meridian Homes is based in Central Florida and has been recognized by winning numerous awards for its home building excellence. Meridian Homes services both Central and the East Coast of Florida. Call Meridian Homes today to build on your lot or one of ours. The home of your dreams is just a phone call away. 407-602-8257 or homesbymeridian.com.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Baylor alumni are more than 160,000 strong. When we all join hands to support our university, we don't just move the needle, we move mountains. Working together, we create life-changing opportunities for students on the field, in the classroom, in the laboratory, and in life for generations to come. So get connected. Get involved. Learn how at Baylor.edu/alumni.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, raise your cholesterol, and cause weight gain. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results. So if you're tired of being tired, call or go online at pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $165 a month, including lab work, office consultation, testosterone injections, and follow-up visits, compared to $300 or more a month in Dallas or Austin, and you don't have to drive 90 miles one way or the other and fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T has board-certified physician consultations and will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone. Contact Petty Clinic Low T for increased energy, improvement in sexual desire and performance, mood, concentration, even a decrease in body and belly fat. Just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway, pettycliniclowt.com.
There are 26 letters in the alphabet, over 600,000 words in the dictionary, and just 3 of them said together can change everything. Let's order pizza. Those 3 words lead to dough made from scratch and 3 fresh signature cheeses that blanket golden crust in a heavenly melt on Marco's Pizza that'll blow your mind. So visit marcos.com to order and stop by Marco's Pizza in Belmead, China Spring, Woodway, and in Robinson. Marco's. Pizza lovers get it.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, this is Dan Engel with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like instant issue debit cards free at all of our banking centers, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas, familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. 365 Sports is turbocharged by Unite Private Networks. Find out more at uniteprivatenetworks.com.
Doubled up on this guest this week because he's just so darn good. UCFsports.com's Brandon Hellwig. Brandon, I was on campus at UCF. 2001 was probably the last time I was on campus here, and I was rolled over by the amount of changes that they made in that's not really that long when you talk about construction and growing a university, but this school, certainly, I think if you were asking who's ready for a Power 5 invite, if you hadn't seen it in a long time, it has been a Power 5 school now for a couple years, and they're just finally now getting to officially say that.
Yeah, you were there, you said 2001. The campus has, honestly, you could go back and someone who visited in the 80s, the 90s, I think it's always been under construction in one way or another. But really what transformed everything just in terms of, elevating the athletics program, it was 2 things that happened in 2007. I know I've said this before if anyone's ever listened, but it was opening the on-campus stadium. Back then it was Bright House Network Stadium. Now it's called FEC Mortgage Stadium. I think most of the fans just call it the Bounce House. The stadium opened up in 2007, and at the exact same time, within a month of doing so, UCF also opened a brand new arena on campus. So for the first time, they really had, an elite level, at least, arena facility for basketball. Just, whether the Bounce House is the nicest stadium in the world, probably not, but it's UCF's own stadium. And when you were playing downtown at the Citrus Bowl and just, obviously the program was growing and, started out Division III, 1AA, Division I independent, then all through the various conferences, when you're in the state and there was a so-called Big Three through the years, Florida State, Miami, it's just, even though you had a big enrollment, you're never going to capture all those people that you really should have. But when finally games were on campus, just the amount of campus pride, the amount of students that suddenly were invested in the football program maybe 10 years before, maybe some of the students, they just would have rooted for FSU or Florida or somebody like that. But now, the culture has totally changed on campus. Just that one thing, that 1 year with this facilities opening up is really the first step. I mean, there's a lot of moments in the journey along the way, but that's the one thing that you can really point to say that's why UCF is in the Big 12 today.
Brandon, for this game tomorrow, Baylor is very much up against the wall. UCF is coming off that loss, but their issues were pretty much on the defensive side of the ball. They were still scoring. Timmy McClain seems to fit in the offense well. What do you think has to happen for UCF to get back on track and jump out and roll in this game like they think they probably can?
Yeah, I that game at Kansas State, I mean, you can look at it a couple of different ways. Obviously, for a first ever conference game, you're going to the defending conference champs. They return, a whole lot of players from that team. And honestly, I think UCF, I think they really didn't think that K-State starting quarterback Willem Howard was going to play. I don't know if it was, I know he got banged up a little bit at Missouri the week before, and there was a lot of talk that he was maybe on crutches and probably was doubtful, but, he obviously played. I think UCF was kind of anticipating, if not hoping, they were going to play the true freshman quarterback that really doesn't have any experience, Avery Johnson, but, they get into that atmosphere. And for the most part, UCF, went toe-to-toe with K-State for, I'd say, 2.5 quarters or so, three quarters. Well, really, more than that, midway through the fourth quarter, so things got out of hand. I mean, UCF's offense can move the ball even without John Rice Plumlee in the starting lineup. Timmy McClain obviously taking over as starter while John Reese heals from a knee injury. But I have no doubt that they can move the ball and score points. It's just how good or how bad is this UCF defense? They really weren't tested in the early part of the non-conference schedule. I know they went up to Boise. They allowed some rushing yards there. And when you got to K-State last week, it just could not get off the field. Just, K-State ran up and down. DJ Giddens, K-State running back, I think he was the Doak Walker National running back of the week, ran for 200-plus yards and 4 touchdowns. That hasn't happened very many times in Kansas State history. We just could not stop him. And I think Kansas State had as many first downs as they've had maybe in 25 years. But that's just one thing that we're going to have to see tomorrow. Obviously, there's quarterback issues again. It seems like every week. I think UCF is probably hoping to see Sawyer Robinson instead of Blake Shapen tomorrow, because I think that's the big question mark for me tomorrow is which UCF defense shows up.
Do you think that last week was an exploitation of a weakness, or was that just something that they were not ready and overmatched because of a strength that Kansas State has?
It might be a little bit of both. It's kind of hard to say right now. I mean, obviously when you get back and, your coordinator did an interview, you ask the players and, in the days that followed after last week, they say, just stuff that can be corrected. There was some alignment issues here and there, but, we kind of know linebacker at UCF is probably a weakness when you look at, at the entirety of that side of the ball. That's kind of been a weak spot. And the defensive ends maybe didn't play very well in doing their jobs in containing the run. So, but then again, Kansas State should be. I know a lot of people looked at that game against Missouri and thought, they should have won that game and everything else. I think maybe people kind of lulled on K-State a little bit. They should be, honestly, a top 3 or 4 team in the Big 12. That's where they were predicted coming in. They still, may end up in that championship game. So I guess we'll find out tomorrow whether it was more K-State or more bad UCF defense.
So, for this one tomorrow, Baylor, I'll just tell you, Baylor, they just have not been able to do anything right. What's been your perspective on Baylor?
I was, as you're coming into it, I try to watch as much Big 12 football last year as I could, but obviously didn't pay as much of attention with UCF not in the league. I did watch the most of the Texas State game on ESPN Plus. That's one thing I love sometimes with UCF. They only have the one Thursday game in the opener. That frees up your Saturday to watch other teams. That I think every game UCF is going to play from here on out is on a Saturday. But I did watch most of that game, and I was just surprised because I was intrigued a little bit because G.J. Kinney, the head coach at Texas State, he's a former UCF coach. He coached. He's part of Gus Malzahn's first staff here a couple years ago, and obviously he was at Incarnate Word last year as the head coach, moved on to Texas State for this year. And so I'm just kind of curious, just there's a few UCF ties on that staff, and just kind of wanted to see. And I think I was flipping around other games, and when I realized Texas State was kind of taking it to Baylor, I was like, whoa, I got to watch this game. And I was just surprised that, I know preseason predictions don't really mean a hill of beans, but I know no one expected Texas State to be that good, or maybe, Baylor to start off that sluggish. I did not see as much of the Utah game as I would have liked. I think I saw maybe the last few minutes on streaming in the hotel before I headed over to Boise State for that one. But I just was surprised, honestly, been surprised at the one. Having to play Texas, that I'm not surprised at that result. I just, sometimes it seems like with the Big 12, you never know what you're going to get year to year. I don't think people predicted the kind of year TCU had. I don't know if people would have predicted the year, Baylor had 2 years ago, especially coming off, 2020 and the first season under Dave Aranda. So there's always a team that surprises. And, I looked at Baylor's schedule and just seeing how it laid out. Yeah, I know they had, Utah in the non-conference. They had to open up the conference with Texas, but there's 8 home games in there. That's unprecedented. Not many teams play 8 games at home. So when you look at how everything broke down, you kind of think, well, that could be a big advantage. That could be, 1 or 2 more wins than they otherwise would have got. So I kind of, thought Baylor could be sort of a dark horse candidate in the Big 12. Of course, obviously, Blake Shapen, not having him available, since that season opener might have a little bit to do with where that record is. But yeah, I think like most everyone else, we're kind of surprised at that 1-3 start.
Brandon Helwig, UCFsports.com. Brandon, thanks so much for hopping on. Sorry about the traffic you got stuck in. I feel responsible for that.
That's all right. I live about, with traffic, it's it's not like some small college town where, everyone's 5 minutes away. I don't live super far, but with traffic on a Friday afternoon, I'm probably about 40 minutes away right now. And I realize, man, by the time I get there, you're going to be almost done. So I'm glad we were able to chat on the phone.
Absolutely. Thanks for hopping on. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon. I'll see you tomorrow at the game.
Okay, man. Thanks. See you tomorrow.
All right. Brandon Helwig, UCFKnights.com. In a minute, Darby Brown, KWTX. She and Roy Ogletree, regular co-host on the Triple Option, will join us. This is 365 Sports, live from Bounce House Social Eats in Orlando.
Ted Teague, General Manager, CEO of Allen Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco, sent this information to me as they close out the month of September, and listen to these deals. 10% off MSRP on the 2023 Jeep Cherokee Limited, the Overland and Summit. Right now, 2-row or 3-row SUVs. Also, can you believe that 10% off as well on all 2023 Jeep Renegades? And that goes hand in hand with 10% off on all 2023 Jeep Compass and 2023 Jeep Gladiator, all models included. Ted Teague sent this information as they close out the month of September, which will be, of course, over the next few days. Great selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. They also have always the Ram Power Days, Jeep Adventure Days, plus what I just mentioned about Jeep. Allen Samuels, Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, Loop 340 east of 84 in Waco.
Pizza, burgers, and Bears football. There's no place around Waco that serves them all other than Bubba's 33. Come show your green and gold and enjoy some of Waco's best food and beverages while watching your favorite team, the Bears. When real Bears fans get hungry, Bubba's 33 is the #1 spot for ice-cold drinks, hand-stretched, stone-baked pizzas, and bacon-infused burgers. Join us for indoor or patio dining. Bubba's 33, Waco's restaurant and proud supporter of Baylor Bears football. Sick 'em, Bears.
Established in 2007 and independently owned, Alliance Bank Central Texas is committed to helping families and businesses meet their financial goals. From their tellers to their board of directors, they know the importance of superior service and competitive products. Customers have confidence knowing that their financial needs are in good hands. It's your bank, Alliance Bank Central Texas, with 2 Waco locations, 4721 Bosque Boulevard and 191 Archway Drive on Highway 84, and at AllianceBankTexas.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
And I Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs. Even offering financing if that's needed, everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
It was broad daylight. I stepped into a gas station for 5 minutes to grab a snack, and just like that, my car was broken into. They made out like a bandit. My laptop, my phone, everything. I called my agent to see what could be done, and he restored my faith in humanity. My claim was processed so quickly, and I was able to recover my losses.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
This is 365 Sports.
The Sikkim 365 app is brought to you by Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Welcome back to Bounce House Social Eats here in Orlando. Darby Brown, KWTX, joins us now. Darby, you're well traveled. You're a person who's been around the country. Is this your first trip to Orlando or no?
I actually think it is. When I landed in the airport, I realized I don't think I've actually flown into Orlando before. I've definitely been to. My grandparents are classic Midwestern people that have, summers in Michigan and then winters in Florida, but different parts of Florida. So first time here.
Okay, so I'll tell you, driving around campus, like I used to live here, as you know, but like 20 years ago, this place is amazingly huge, and it's legit amazing what they've done to this place. Have you been down to the stadium or anything yet?
No, we really just got into town
right
and came right here, so I wanted to join in with you. But yeah, so I'm excited to see. Around.
Absolutely. So Baylor has struggled so mightily this year, doing everything.
Yeah.
Doing everything, and they don't seem to have answers. Do you think being on the road might actually be good for them?
I actually think it really could. I think last year that was really the case. Somehow when they would get on the road, they would be together. They'd have to just be with each other and kind of go into somebody else's house and be more as a group, maybe brings different energy out of guys. That proved to really help that team last year. And obviously Baylor fans currently hope that it would be the case this year. But I think there's a chance. I think, you know what? Switch it up. Why not? Do something different. What they've been doing at McLean has not worked so well. So switch it up, get on the road, see if you can bring something out of these guys.
Well, and when you look around what's going on in the rest of the Big 12, they're one of 3 teams that really needs to win this weekend to kind of restart their season. Houston and Tech are another 2, and Tech is Baylor's opponent next week. Mm-hmm. When you look around the rest of the Big 12 and you see the bottom, does this game particularly have maybe a panic button on it?
I think right now it is Texas and everybody else, and I think every game's going to matter because the rest of every spot is you're gonna have to fight for it. I really do think Texas has separated themselves from the pack here, and now every game is going to matter moving forward. And you don't want to look at it as a fight for the bottom spots or anything like that, but it just feels like everybody else might kind of be in the same boat right now. It's kind of all iffy at the moment. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I definitely think it's all going to kind of matter here.
Yeah, I mean, Texas and Kansas this weekend should be a really wild game. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be fun. I think Texas probably ultimately wins that game. But you're right. Look, Texas has kind of set themselves apart for now.
For now,
And if
right.
And if they keep winning, then they're going to keep setting themselves apart. But, I mean, I do think that there's some openings in the middle. Like, if everybody's going to have to jockey for that second part in Oklahoma, and I do think it would be tragic. It was Texas and Oklahoma
It would
a second time for the
It'd be
12 title.
something, yeah.
It would be tragic for the Big 12 to
Yeah,
get that to
it would
happen.
be.
It would be great for the SEC.
Right.
So, but you do, like, if you look at like Oklahoma, like, who do you think is the biggest threat to Texas?
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And beyond that, though, I don't know. I think that's where it really becomes open in a way, which is good. And I think for Baylor, they saw Texas right away. They got exposed right away. Now you got to move forward. And, this is a big one. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. So what do you need to see from Baylor early to make you think, okay, this is a team that's woken up now?
A touchdown. A touchdown. I mean,
a touchdown.
They have to score. The offense, I mean, the defense has shown signs. The Utah game, I think the defense looked pretty good. Obviously, they were facing a backup quarterback, but defense did a lot of good things. I think they need to score. They need to drive down the field and score early, even just for a confidence boost. I mean, to go through a game where you can't get in the end zone, even though you're given some big opportunities as they were, that's got to do something for the confidence. Now, we don't know, exactly what's going on with Sawyer, Blake, all that stuff, but they got to score, and that's really as simple as that. Now, how they do that, obviously a lot of different ways, but ultimately they got to score.
Yeah, I think that the Blake Shapen needs to play because I think they need an emotional boost.
I agree.
Because if he rolls out there tomorrow, this is going to be a little bit of a different team. They can score more with Blake, but if he doesn't, then I just don't know if they're going to have that.
Yeah, I asked one of the offensive linemen this week, Campbell Barrington, we were able to talk with him, and I kind of asked him, hey, if Blake rolls out there, how much pressure do you feel to protect him? Because they let him down in that first game, and moving forward, they're going to have to step up if Blake is rolled out there, especially because he's not going to be at 100%. But I think maybe even that will light some fire in those guys up front, and then the guys all around him to say, "Our guy's back. Let's go do something here." I completely agree.
Absolutely. And again, we have not seen Baylor's offense at its full strength at all this season. So I wonder if we do, how much does that change things? But unfortunately for Blake, Sawyer, who's ever going to take RJ Martinez, the offensive line just hasn't been good yet.
No, they haven't. And again, it's kind of confusing. I thought they would be better. I think everybody kind of thinks that, and maybe it's just because they're still really gelling together here. But they have not lived up to what they need to, and they just need to protect their quarterback. I mean, to be honest, Sawyer was limping around, so he's not 100%.
Okay.
It's like you can't have two quarterbacks already down. That's a bad look.
Okay, and to be fair to Sawyer Robertson, Sawyer has not been healthy since, I think, part of the way through the Utah game, right?
Yeah, right.
And so since then, even him trying to get better each and every week, he's playing in a kind of a bum foot himself.
Yeah, and not to mention you're thrown into a season where you didn't think you were going to be the guy. Now you've had to be the guy against, terrible odds, sort of. It's a tough spot that he's been in, no doubt. And I give him a lot of credit for just getting through it. I don't know exactly. We don't talk to him. I don't know how he's really doing. But, I mean, it's got to be a tough situation. And I think, he has not been healthy. I mean, anyone with eyes could see that he's not been healthy. He has definitely been limping around out there, and you would hope to see him at another point when he's a little bit more ready and see what he could do, because I think there's still a lot of belief in what he can do. He just hasn't been thrown into the best of circumstances.
Yeah, you fired up to get out and mix it up tomorrow. I mean, this is going to be kind of a fun thing. We're both going to be doing live hits from different parts of the tailgating area in the field for the pregame show. This is a great college football environment here at the Bounce House.
Oh, yeah, I'm really excited. Obviously, we've all kind of heard about it. I think it's just fun, too, to kick off the Big 12 play in this area, and there's definitely a lot of excitement. I'm sure you've been out here longer than I have, so you've probably felt it a little bit more. But I bet everybody's really, really happy to be here and ready to roll.
Yeah, we've seen UCF fans, a lot of Baylor fans, a lot of everybody here, kind of hanging out. So certainly just been it's so strange to me because I grew up down here.
Yeah.
To me, thinking that this would be like a major athletic program and like 20 years ago wouldn't have happened. Wouldn't have even crossed my mind. But now they've like done it, and like they've done it so big.
Right. Well, the fans have been passionate. I know one of our former coworkers, Royden and I were talking about it over here at KWTX. Brandon Hamilton, he went to UCF, and I would work with him on Saturdays, and he'd be, in Waco wearing his UCF gear, watching them, and so they've been wanting this,
Yeah.
and now it's a big opportunity for them. So the fan base has been there, and I'm excited to see it, and and then I'm excited to see how Baylor responds against that environment with the whole crowd and everything that it's going to look like.
Yeah. Well, Darby, thanks for stopping by. I know that you guys have some shots that you're going to do too. So we'll take a break here and let you get to work and do what you need to do.
I'm excited to be here. Let's do it.
All right, Darby Brown, KWTX. You'll watch us both with Smokey tomorrow morning on the pregame show or tomorrow afternoon. What time? We're on.
I'm so bad at time changes, but I think it's 12:30 Central.
Yeah, 12:30 to 2 tomorrow,
yes.
and we're on the
CW.
The CW tomorrow.
Yes.
On the CW tomorrow, 12:30 to 2. I hope we got that right, Josh and Smokey. Please don't be mad at us. It's an hour ahead here. Everything's.
I'm just trying to make sure. I really have a note in my phone of, okay, this time.
It's Florida. They have alligators and invasive tree frogs and pythons. It's scary down here. Exactly. It's scary. All right, when we come back, we'll dive more into the college football weekend. We'll talk to our crowd a little bit, too. This is 365 Sports.
Edward Jones Financial Advisors Ben Erlinson, Chuck Verno, Brad Wilson, and Cam Heathcott understand these are difficult and changing times we live in, but they know how important your financial investments are to you. So is your financial advisor staying in touch with you and helping you navigate today's financial climate? Invest with Edward Jones Financial Advisors Ben Erlinson, Chuck Verno, Brad Wilson, and Cam Heathcott, who invest their time and experience back to you and your money. And like coaching athletes, investing money about time, patience, and encouragement. Contact Ben Erlinson at 254-759-8533, Chuck Verno at 720 North 64th Street, Brad Wilson's location at 2 Sharon Drive in Woodway, and Cam Heathcott in Conroe. Edward Jones Financial Advisors, Ben Erlinson, Chuck Verno, Brad Wilson, and Cam Heathcott, proud sponsors of 365 Sports. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, member SIPC. Baylor Scott and White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physicians for Baylor Athletics, diagnosing and treating all sports-related injuries, including concussions. These specialists also provide orthopedic services for athletes and non-athletes alike, whether it's knee or shoulder pain, a wrist injury, orthopedic spine care, and even an arthritis and total joint clinic. Trust the doctors Baylor Athletics trust. Baylor Scott and White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics wants to get you back in the game.
TFNB Your Bank for Life is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB Your Bank for Life. Member FDIC.
Penny Clinic Men's Healthcare in Woodway is now proud to offer you men an exceptional weight management body sculpting product called semaglutide, also known as Ozempic or Wegovy. Semaglutide is an FDA-approved weight management medication. Once-a-week injections of this powerful medication offers an average body fat weight loss of 20% within the first year of treatment. In addition to body sculpting, semaglutide also normalizes blood sugars and has the clinical research proof of reducing blood pressure, cholesterol, stroke, and heart attack risk. If you're like most men and you have stubborn fat that will just not respond to typical diets and exercise, then help is finally here. Semaglutide, affordable, highly effective. Google search Penny Clinic Waco and reach out to the Penny Clinic team today for a free consultation with Dr. Penny to see if semaglutide is right for you. Go to pennycliniclowt.com.
The 365 Sports Friday Show is presented by Bird Culchin Ford and the U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company.
It is always great to meet people that you talk to that we through the show. Jack, we just met our buddy John John, IGN Homes has sponsored, one of the sponsors of the trip. He's our hotel sponsor. Just absolutely fantastic guy and a great fan ambassador for UCF. So we got to meet him. Thanks for Darby there, and man, this Bounce House Social Eats, thank you so much to them as well. We've got another hour left in the show. We got John McClain. We got the top five coming up here as the show moves along. But it's all coming up in the last hour of the show. And, of course, you can catch us locally, 365 Sports, tonight on the CW at 10:30 as well. Florida and Kentucky, a game in the SEC, I think is super interesting. This is where Devin Leary has to show to me he was worth it for the. I mean, he's going to be worth it for the transfer. They lost Will Levis, and he's going to get him through the year and they'll probably get him to a nice bowl game. But if they want to compete in the SEC East, they're going to beat the Gators again. And Devin Leary needs to have a nice game against a Florida defense that's improving and not bad. They're not super fast. Like, you go watch the documentary about the Florida defense. Like, no, they're not that yet, but they're better and they're tough. They've held everybody pretty much down. Like, Charlotte, I know it's Charlotte, but they only scored 7 points. Tennessee's offense is supposed to be this great shakes. It was not good against the Gators. So this is going to be a real test for Devin Leary in a game that he should play well in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's really going to be that kind of prove it moment for him, I think. And it doesn't have to be the most amazing performance ever. He just really needs to go out there and show, like, hey, this is why we brought him in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it has to be a win. He just has to show that, like, they brought in the right guy.
Yeah. So we're going to have Sam Bradshaw in just a second. We're going to have to call him on the fly, but he knows that we're going to call him on the fly. Jack, so
great.
Yeah. You did really well before with Josh Neighbors. So Sam Bradshaw going to join us here in just 1 second to break down this game from the X's and O's perspective of what Baylor and UCF need to do. So Sam Bradshaw joins us now, SicEm365.com. Sam, this is a Baylor team that hasn't done any one thing particularly well yet. What can they do against UCF that you have seen on film?
Thanks for having me on. And with UCF, their offense has produced a lot of yards, but if it's had any one area that it's kind of struggled, there's two candidates. It's red zone efficiency, where they're only getting like 4.4 points per trip, which is well below average. And then they're turning it over a disproportionate number of their possessions. And if Baylor can get those two things in their favor, they can at least slow that offense down to the point that their offense, with Chapin and with some other aspects coming back into play, could potentially make this into a pretty interesting game.
So how much do you think the road environment will play a factor for Baylor? I mean, look, it's going to be a tough place to play, but maybe just getting on the road and getting out of their own heads.
Well, the Bounce House is not easy. It's a very loud, very, very, very electric environment. They will absolutely be up for this one, regardless of the opponent. It's the first time that they are hosting a Big 12 matchup in their stadium. So there's a certain bit of program coronation and excitement to be there, similar to when Baylor opened McLean, where it's just a monumental moment for the program. And there's going to be a certain amount of energy from that alone. I don't know if it's necessarily going to get Baylor's mind right, but you got a lot of the same guys who got the big eyes in other parts of 2022 who are coming back. So you would think that they should be past it by now. And we'll hopefully see them do that. I think getting Chapin back in there will help the offense to a great degree, though. Sawyer's been pretty hurt, and the dual threat aspect that he gives you with the design quarterback runs that really caught Utah off guard early. Once he got hurt and they knew he was hurt, they were really able to clamp down on that. And so is basically every opponent since, with the exception of Texas, who did not have to because their defensive line was just winning. I don't think UCF's going to have the ability to shut down the run game the way Texas did. And I think getting Chapin back in there will force them to play a little more honest in coverage. compared to Utah in the second half and what you saw from Long Island.
All right, so UCF's run defense has been, I guess, their Achilles heel. We don't know, it's really only shown itself a little bit this year, but a lot of it against Kansas State. What do you think they'll do to try to shore that up against, even though it's a Baylor offensive line, like we said earlier, Sam, that just hasn't played well yet?
Well, I'm going to be very interested to see how well that translates, because they didn't do a great job stopping Boise in terms of yards per possession. But between turnovers and between point conversion in the red zone, Boise didn't put up a whole lot of points, but they moved it consistently. And then Kansas State absolutely ran over them. But Kansas State also uses a lot more gap schemes and not necessarily zone run schemes the way that Baylor does. So it will be interesting to see if Grimes breaks out a couple different counter punches to what they do, knowing that UCF's probably going to try and slant the line. They're probably going to try and do things to take away that wide zone early and get Baylor in long yardage where their speed and their pass rush can inflict some damage to you. But I think Baylor should be able to run on these guys if they can get them to play them honestly. And a good part of getting to that point is Shapen coming back and the passing game executing at a high level to where they have to play you honestly, and they can't do junk defense in order to take away fastball.
How much difference will Blake Shapen make if he is able to run out there and play tomorrow?
I think he will make a lot of difference to the passing game. I think no idea where he is on his mobility, but if he's able to throw and able to set his feet and deliver accurately, consistently, the way we saw week one prior to being injured, despite the fact nobody really protected him, if you can give him some protection and give him some time, which they have done better in recent weeks prior to the Texas game, of course, of blocking up front, both in the run and the pass, because it's hard to do any worse than they did in that first game. If they can protect him, I think this is a secondary that has some talent, but they can be beaten. I mean, Kent State had a 70-plus yard play come back for a legal man downfield where they just had their guy run away from one of their man cover guys. And UCF, when they get in trouble with the run, they are willing to take chances. They're willing to blitz you. They're willing to play man. They're willing to play aggressive zone. There's going to be opportunities if Baylor can stay balanced. And Baylor's got guys like Baldwin and Jackson. They got a lot of these guys that can make some big plays for you if you can get them open.
All right, Jack, do we have something here on Blake Shapen?
I mean, I just checked Instagram. Blake Shapen posted with two tongue out money eye emojis, and then Sawyer Robertson commented that get back. So I'm not sure what to make of that.
All right.
It'd be one heck of a disinformation campaign, but I think he's playing.
All right. So, I mean, it looks trending that way. So how much, if he's able to get going, do you think it will help the running game? Again, this is something we haven't seen this. Blake Shapen got hurt in it, pretty early on in a game that they were getting rolled in. And I say rolled, but they were getting physically beaten up in that game and wound up losing by double digits. So do we even know how he affects the running game yet?
I think he will absolutely impact the running game because of what you saw in the second half against Utah, where you had once Sawyer's ankle was beat up to where he couldn't really hit you with the quarterback run. The passing game has not been sharp ever since. Part of that's him being hurt. Part of that's not having Shapen. And as bad as Baylor was week one against Texas State, as a random mention in the post game, they had trouble identifying certain things in the blocking schemes for the first 4 drives or so. But after that, they averaged over half the field. And while it certainly wasn't clean, and it's certainly not a performance you want to repeat, Shapen was absolutely delivering. You look at the film, you look at, regardless of whether he was under pressure, was the ball on target, was the ball on time, and was it accurately delivered with a chance to do something? And it was consistently yes. And that is a massive change from what this offense has been over the last few weeks. So if you can protect him, this is a game where he will have opportunities to make some big plays for you.
What is the UCF offense different at all, if it is, with Timmy McClain as opposed to John Rice Plumlee?
I don't think they have the ability to have the quarterback take it 60 yards any better than they did, and I don't think he'll fall forward for yards on contact the way that Plumlee would. But Timmy is an absolutely outstanding athlete. He almost looks like a point guard out there with his change of direction. The guy is really elusive. He's got a very quick burst. He's capable as a runner, but he might actually be slightly better as a passer in terms of his ball placement. And, I know last year, one of the big gripes that a lot of people had about the UCF offense is that the accuracy coming from the quarterback position. And while Plumlee's done better this year, this is a offense that if they can get those one-on-one matchups, and if the quarterback's really on point with his accuracy, they can put you in a world of hurt pretty quick, because it's miles on scheme from Auburn. So they have a little bit spread, but they'll get into some tight formations. They'll hit you with 1,000 different ways of motion. They'll hit you with power. They'll hit you with counter. They'll hit you with inside zone and RPOs and a very well-designed screen game. Some of them are even designed to look exactly like those counter plays that they run until the ball comes out. It's a very devastating scheme, and he's been able to build a roster with a bunch of SEC transfers and Power 5 transfers, as well as some of his own recruits over the last 3 years. And that offensive roster, it's not overwhelming, but they all fit the system, and it makes for a nice production for them.
So because he's so mobile, do you expect the defense to, I don't want to say be less aggressive, but at least not really a lot of blitzing, sitting back and like making him have to beat you through the air?
I think it comes down to how are you holding up on the D-line? You may not have a choice but to be aggressive if your defensive line's not holding up in the run game. Now, there's the potential for getting Boykins and Emery on the defensive line back. If you get those nose tackles back, all of a sudden you have a lot more beef up front. You have a lot more ability to potentially play a man down in the box and still hold up against the run, which is something they haven't had the benefit of this year, but they've absolutely been able to do the last 2 years. And frankly, it's all they did in 2022. And it's the way that they won the Sugar Bowl. It's the way they won the Big 12 title game, is being able to play man down compared to the number of blockers and still hold up. If they can get Boykins back and if the defensive line can play big under that circumstance, that could potentially lend itself to a more conservative play calling structure being successful. But these guys, you've got to get some more aggressive coverage calls even within that framework. You can't have a situation like the late game drive against Utah where you didn't really even have your guys in a position to handle a slot receiver running a slant, for instance, because Malzahn's going to run that all day if you get it to him. But if you have to bring those safeties down, he's seen the tape from Texas State where one of his proteges put a slot receiver on a fade at you over and over and over again. Baylor, to really have a chance here, they got to be able to hold up in the trenches to keep them out of those one-on-ones, and also just to force these kids to throw and force them to be in a situation where there's some more opportunity for some disruption and some inefficiency to get them off the field.
Sam, thank you so much for helping on. Sorry about the delay. We're here at the Bounce House Social. It's loud. It's crazy. There's a lot of people here that I don't think now we're starting to move into the late night crowd. Are we, Jack, or the happy hour crowd?
Happy hour for sure. Definitely not late night.
Yeah.
Come on, Paul. How long has it been since you enjoyed a late night out?
I don't know. It's been a long time.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just ordered a water.
Sure you did, Paul.
I did. No, look,
Water.
people can see it on video. So, Sam, thanks so much.
Sounds like a lot of fun, buddy.
Yeah, thanks so much. We'll talk to you again next week.
Talk to you then.
All right. Yeah, I don't know, like, it just, like you hear them talk, and it sounds like a bad matchup for Baylor based on what they've done, but again, they're going to need to rely on, like, the factor of they're not at home, they're not, like, in this, why can't we win here kind of a thing that they've been in, or what's going on. Like, maybe the trip to the Sunshine State is just what they need.
Yeah, maybe it is, and frankly, they've played two teams that they should absolutely have more talent than, one loss and one win, and they played two teams that you wouldn't necessarily say they should have more talent. They definitely don't have more talent than. This is a game where this might be one of the more even talent matchups, and so I think you can truly see you'll be able to truly see how they're executing their schemes on both sides of the ball much better against a more level playing field.
And look, if Blake Shapen is truly back, if that is what that Instagram post meant.
I don't want to be around here trying to break news based on social media posts that are cryptic. So I want all of that to be taken with a grain of salt. But it is something interesting, something to think about when there's been no news other than Dave Aranda stating very clearly that he is day to day.
Yeah, so, I hope, we get to see Blake Shapen again. It's, you get this way as someone who covers sports, as a sports fan, I'll just use Aaron Rodgers as an example. You could hate Aaron Rodgers.
I don't.
I know you don't, but but you could not like Aaron Rodgers. But also be like, well, now I'm bummed that he's not going to play for the whole year because it's clearly made watching the Jets unbearable.
Yes.
As where watching the Jets was going to be a cool thing, now it's completely unbearable.
Exactly.
And even Aaron Rodgers at Aaron Rodgers speed makes the Jets infinitely more watchable than it is right now. And I do think by its own level of comparison to that, Blake Shapen makes the Bears offense much more watchable and movable and what they can do.
I think we'll see.
We'll see.
That's the hope.
Yeah. But he won the job for a reason, and he won the job a long time ago for a reason. I know that there was some maybe it's Sawyer Robertson. I think that Dave Aranda wanted to see Blake Shapen pushed and see how he responded leadership-wise, because he had moments last year where you could tell he was not as emotionally invested as he could have been. And he had to do some growing up. The TCU game for one. Those were decisions that he made that were just not good. So I don't know. What could happen to the offense if he's actually there and healthy? And here's the other risk they run, which is why you say day to day. If he's really not all that completely back and is still limited, then that's not going to be good either. And that you're going to put him out there and you're going to have, if you're going to have a limited quarterback, you might as well save him where you get healthy and help you more down the stretch and not risk him to get hurt where you may not have him at all for the rest of the year.
I mean, we are looking at a game where if Baylor wins, you're feeling a lot better about their bowl chances. So maybe there is some pressure there. If we need to go bowling and Sawyer might not get us there, we feel that much better about Shapen even if he is banged up. I'm not sure where the coaching staff is on that. They're a more conservative staff in my mind, so that's probably not where they're at. But I just felt like it's an option.
Well, if you're 1-4, trying to get to 6 wins is going to be tough.
Exactly.
You have to get so hot.
That's at the core of what I was saying.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to look at yourself 2-3. Now you're just one game under 500. But
with a game against another team that's in that struggling position coming up next before your bye week.
Yeah.
If you can just keep Shapen in a decent place and find a way to win 2 games heading into your bye week, you're feeling a lot better coming out of that for a Cincinnati and an Iowa State matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see. I mean, look, Cincinnati is another one. That game is tonight, right? Cincinnati and BYU.
Yes.
That game is tonight. And Emory Jones showed some stuff earlier in the year, but I think he's kind of a 50-50 guy. You're either going to get Emory Jones with all of his athleticism and all these things he can do, or you're going to get Emory Jones who is problematically turnover prone in a way that is prodigious. He's just, and he's one of those guys that's unfortunate for him. Some guys just kind of throw interceptions in tight spots that okay, well, they threw an interception, they took a chance, but it wasn't that big of a chance somebody made a play. Emory Jones seems to have a knack for throwing interceptions that go the other way.
For 6?
Yeah. I mean, just when he was at Florida, he wouldn't just throw an interception.
Oh, wow, Paul's taking a chance to dunk on a former Gator.
But when he was in Florida, it wasn't just hey, throw an interception and the team gets the ball back. Maybe your defense can do something. No, because now they've gone the other way for 6, and you don't have any control of the situation.
That's the thing. Cincinnati's defense is probably their strength. Dante Corleone anchors it up front. And if they're put in a bad position by their quarterback throwing an interception deep in their own territory, what are they supposed to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we'll see what happens with that one. We'll take a break right here. When we come back, John McClain joins us. Sports Radio 610 in Houston. This is 365 Sports.
Looking for a new house? Let Meridian Homes build you the house of your dreams. Meridian Homes is based in Central Florida and has been recognized by winning numerous awards for its home building excellence. Meridian Homes services both Central and the East Coast of Florida. Call Meridian Homes today to build on your lot or one of ours. The home of your dreams is just a phone call away. 407-602-8257 or homesbymeridian.com. Ingenuity Air is a mechanical contracting provider for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning services, specializing in residential HVAC systems, maintenance, service, and installations. We provide reliable mechanical solutions for families and businesses in Central Florida. We strive to be the best mechanical service provider for homeowners, business owners, and general contractors in our community, providing effective, efficient, and reliable mechanical solutions and maintenance throughout Central Florida and surrounding areas. We believe in the importance of keeping homes and businesses comfortable and safe, and we understand the challenges that come with HVAC issues and want to help by providing reliable, trustworthy, and effective solutions to make a positive impact on our community. And going on right now through football season, all UCF students or alumni can receive 10% off Ingenuity Air services of up to $500 off the replacement of a system. Contact us at ingenuityair.com or 407-391-1145.
During Ram Power Days at Allen Samuels in Waco, get 2.9% for 72 months on new 2023 1500 Lone Star and Laramie 4x4 crew cabs, or $11,000 off MSRP on Lone Stars and $12,500 off MSRP on Laramies.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Pizza, burgers, and Bears football. There's no place around Waco that serves them all other than Bubba's 33. Come show your green and gold and enjoy some of Waco's best food and beverages while watching your favorite team, the Bears. When real Bears fans get hungry, Bubba's 33 is the #1 spot for ice-cold drinks, hand-stretched, stone-baked pizzas, and bacon-infused burgers. Join us for indoor or patio dining. Bubba's 33, Waco's restaurant and proud supporter of Baylor Bears football. Sick 'em, Bears.
Looking to connect with Baylor alums in your area? Baylor Alumni can help. Looking to host a watch party in your city? Baylor Alumni can get you started. Want to step out in your community and serve with other alums? Baylor Alumni is your connection with the university and each other. Let's get started. Learn how at baylor.edu/alumni.
Samantha Duvall, Marketing Director for TexasBeefHouse.com. You know all about their great Wagyu beef and product they have. You can go to TexasBeefHouse.com for anything you want to order. But, Samantha, thanks for your time. There's an auction coming up in the month of November. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so November 11th, we're having our first public beef auction. It's going to be here at our ranch in White House, Texas. It's going to be a live auction. You can bid in person. You can bid on the phone, or we'll also have it online. And we're auctioning off Wagyu and Angus beef. We'll have 30 to 40-pound bundles. They'll be full of steaks, hamburger, and primals. This is perfect for not only the restaurant owners, but also homeowners.
So if somebody wants to load up your deep freezer with some great product from a place that is just delivering all of the time with Wagyu from their ranch to your plate, TexasBeefHouse.com.
Welcome back to 365 Sports. It's time for our weekly segment with NFL Hall of Fame columnist John McClain. Brought to you by Pioneer Steel and Pipe, where customer service is their main focus, and best in metal, steel, and pipe for large or small projects, with 2 locations in Waco and Bryan. Family owned and operated since 1943. Read John's work at sportsradio610.com.
John McClain, sportsradio610.com with us. John, we'll talk NFL in just a second, and I do want to hear your thoughts on Astros here as the season closes out and how this AL West has gotten white-knucklingly tight. But first, Houston and Texas Tech this weekend is kind of a game to save either team's season as it stands. What's the vibe around the Cougars right now in Houston?
Not much. It's all about the Astros. Texans coming off their first win. J.J. Watt Day being put in the Ring of Honor Sunday. I thought Texas Tech would be better. They've lost close games. They had 10, 11 starters coming back. I didn't think much of Houston, and this would be a big win for them if they could pull it off. But I think Texas Tech is good enough to beat them.
John, I'm here in Orlando. Your Bears have been struggling mightily. They've got a UCF team that's pretty good, even though they took a loss against Kansas State. Blake Shapen might be back. He had kind of a cryptic Instagram post a few minutes ago. This is almost save your season time for them as well, if it is for the other 3 teams.
Well, you don't know, Paul. Save them from what? They're not going to win the title. We all knew that. They can't bring Chapin back before he's 100% because then he could be worse. And then that could cost him the rest of the season. So you got to bite the bullet until the doctors say he's 100% and then hope he can make a difference in the offense. But it's too bad he can't play up front.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, John, the Astros, it is coming right down to it where, the Mariners, I think a couple weeks ago thought that they might have been, rolling along and going to win the AL West title, but it's gotten crazy messy, and the Rangers have gotten hot. The Astros have been streaky. The Mariners have been streaky. Is it nervousness, excitement? What's going on around the Astros right now?
All of the above, because they stunk it up losing 7-9 to the Royals and the A's. Then they go to Seattle and win 2 of 3 to be able to control their destiny. If they win 3 at Arizona, they're in. If they win 2 or 3, they're probably going to be in. What they would like is for the Mariners to sweep the Rangers so they can win the division and get the first round bye. But the problem is they don't need to be playing at Minute Maid Park. They're awful at Minute Maid Park, 39-42. They're 49-20 on the road. So ordinarily you'd say, oh, my goodness, you got to go to Seattle and Arizona, 2 teams competing for the playoffs for the last 2 trips, but they have been so much better on the road. And a lot of the fans are like, oh, they'll be okay. Oh, they'll be okay. Now it's, oh, they might not be okay.
So if Houston fans could have it one way, would it be anything to get in the playoffs? So even if the Mariners don't sweep the Rangers, would they accept the Rangers like winning 1 game and essentially knocking the Mariners out?
Well, they it's amazing, Paul. These 3 teams have developed great rivalries. The Astros have a home tiebreaker advantage over the Rangers. The Rangers have it over the Mariners. Mariners have it over the Astros. And all of them have done well and they've done poorly. It's a credit to Bruce Bochy that he didn't let the Rangers go straight down the toilet with that late season collapse. And then they rebounded and got back first place. And that was very, very impressive. And their bullpen is not historically bad like it was for a while. But I thought when the Astros came up there and stomped them, they were done. And now the division is theirs to win, even though they lost last night. The Astros last year had the home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They were not one of the teams that was upset coming off a wild card round. And I know they'd like to have that again. But right now, they just be grateful to get in the playoffs, and so would their fans.
All right, John, the Texans. Last week, what a win over the Jaguars, a team that's disappointed so far. But, this was, just on all cylinders, a great effort. What did you take away from C.J. Stroud's great performance, from Tank Dell making a big play, like kind of everything you wanted to see from the rookie class kind of happening in that game against the Jaguars?
Will Anderson Jr., 3rd overall pick, had a couple pressures, had a hit in the backfield, also blocked the field goal, set up a short touchdown drive. They had big plays on special teams, including a touchdown. But let me tell you something, Paul. In my 47 years of covering the NFL, I've never seen a team have injuries in the offensive line like they do. They're missing 4 starters, and 3 of those starters they're missing are replacing other starters. They shouldn't even be starting. They're on the 3rd left tackle, 3rd left guard, 3rd center, 3rd right tackle. And next week they get one of those guys back right tackle Titus Howard. But it is amazing how well Stroud has played when he's been under so much pressure. And that's something that he's improved every game that people are really impressed with, how he gets hit so many times. Now, he didn't get sacked against Jacksonville. He's on pace before that of 93 sacks, but he's very poised, and he makes sure to praise his linemen every game. But, man, oh, man, you got T.J. Watt coming in here, and T.J. Watt already has 6 sacks. They lead the league with 13 sacks. It could get ugly.
John, the Cowboys were down 3 starters in the offensive line last week as well. They haven't really performed well in the red zone. Do you think that the way that those first two games went for the Cowboys created unrealistic expectations, or was the loss of the Cardinals more about them not having those dudes up front of the offensive line?
That you can't blame that. My God, they got beat by the Cardinals. It doesn't matter if half your team's out. You shouldn't be losing that game. You're playing on the road. You got more fans than the Cardinals did. It's a classic case, Paul, of a team taking another team lightly. And it's probably good because it should serve as a wake-up call for Mike McCarthy to say, okay, guys, I told you last week what you had to worry about, and you didn't. Dak Prescott has not played nearly as well as he's capable, and I was stunned to see the Cardinals and Joshua Dobbs run the ball the way they did on the Cowboys. They made Dobbs look like he's going to the Pro Bowl, and he's lucky to be even a backup, much less a starter.
Yeah, that was absolutely wild, John. Are the Dolphins for real?
Well, we'll find out when they play in Buffalo. Bill's Mafia, they'll feel like they can influence the game, and maybe they can. But what the Dolphins did to the Broncos and Sean Payton, a lot of people around the NFL loved it. They wanted Payton to get his comeuppance. He was a great coach when he had a Hall of Fame quarterback. Now he's not looking so good, even though he still has a Hall of Fame quarterback. But they didn't even have Jalen Waddle. He's their 3rd fastest player, and it's amazing. He was Devon A. Chain. He was Devin A. Chain at A&M. Now he's Devon A. Chan. He told Peter King on his Football America column, it's A. Chan. So he's changed the pronunciation of his first and last name. If it helps him average 11.8 yards a carry again, the Dolphins will be happy if you call him anything you want.
John, would you have gone for the record if you were Mike McDaniel?
Absolutely not. No, he'd be looked on as no class, and plus coaches put themselves in the shoes of the guy across the field, and he didn't want to look like Sean Payton looked when he blasted Nathaniel Hackett, made himself look like an idiot. Now he's having a lot of the same problems Hackett did. And I'm guessing if you ask Hackett what you think about the way Denver's going, he'd probably say one of the worst coaching jobs in NFL history.
So if Nathaniel Hackett wasn't the only problem, what's the problem with the Broncos?
I have no idea, Paul. I don't follow him close enough. Russell Wilson's playing better than he did last year. Their defense has been terrible. They can't run the ball. I'd like to say it's coaching, but everybody thinks Peyton's going to the Hall of Fame. I have my doubts. He's only won one Super Bowl, but he better get it turned around in Chicago. Can you imagine, Paul, what the fallout would be in Denver if he was to lose to the worst team in the league, the Bears?
That would be some fallout. Well, John, enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Paul, thank you very much. And second Bears.
There you go, John McClain, Sports Radio 610. Yeah, I know they're going to talk about the NFL much, but I am befuddled by the Broncos. Like, if you look at their roster, it doesn't seem that bad, but they just don't win. And then they just, like, what happened to them? That happens in college all the time. In the NFL, like, you don't lose by 50 points. You don't lose by 50. It's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. We need our intern one more time here, Jack. Alex! I don't think she can hear me. Yeah, trying to get our intern. She's trying to learn the business, but she has already apparently a lot of fans in her 2 minutes that she was on YouTube earlier has created probably a buzz about it. All right, Alex.
Hey.
Do we have people?
Yes, we do have people.
Yeah, let's bring them over.
He's coming. He's eating right now. He's coming.
Okay. See, this is something you need to learn. You got to have your prepared to have these people. So, cleaning out the beard right now. All right. He's still chewing. We don't
I'm
want to.
sorry about that.
Okay. All right, who do we have?
All right, so this is Brandon. Brandon, where are you from?
Maitland, Florida.
All right, Brandon from Maitland. All right, Brandon, what's your question?
What's that?
What's your question?
My question is, how many points are the UCF Knights going to score tomorrow?
If it's gone how Baylor's gone this year, maybe as many as they want. But I think it's going to be a bit of a better game. I think you're looking at, probably a 38-24 type thing tomorrow.
Nice.
So, all right.
Nice.
Good. Are you? Let me ask a follow-up question. How do you feel about Timmy McClain as the backup quarterback?
I feel confident about Timmy McClain.
Okay. Good deal. All right. Thank you.
Great.
All right. Do we have one more or just?
Yes.
All right. Who's next? All right. We got a Pitt Panther fan.
We do have a Pitt. Must be terrible for her, but she's been good. So we're good.
There we go.
So this is Alyssa. Alyssa, where are you from?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh. All right. Alyssa, what's your question?
My question is, will UCF win again against Baylor like they did in the Fiesta Bowl?
Yeah. I think so. I think most of the people on our website have picked them to do that. So, yeah. All right. Good deal. So, but are you a Pitt fan?
Obviously,
yeah.
yes.
Sometimes people just wear T-shirts. That's why I asked.
No, I went to Pitt for college. Yeah, for grad school and undergrad. So, hail to Pitt.
There we go. All right,
hail
thanks.
to Pitt.
All right.
Yeah.
Good work, Alex.
Thank you.
Anything you want to say to the people before you go?
It's been great. Super excited to be here.
Do you have socials that you want people?
Yes, I do have socials. My Instagram is Alex Acevedo. You're going to spell it wrong, so I'll spell it out for you. It's ACCEVEDO. You can go follow me. But go Noles, and Seminoles are winning the Natty this year.
There we go. All right, there you go.
That's what I have to say.
Yeah. See, that's not just pandering, Jack. That's just not pandering. She really believes that. So there you go. There's Alex on her debut.
Is it better that she actually believes it?
Yeah.
Is it better, Paul?
I mean, look, I don't mind being pandered to. I don't mind being pandered to at all. But no, there you go. So we had a really great crowd here at Bounce House Social Eats.
The crowd's been awesome.
Crowd's been excellent. It's great to meet John. It's great to meet I mean, we've seen the guys from UCF before, but they brought us this helmet and
met them a couple of years ago. Big media days when they're coming around that they would soon join the conference. And,
so
they're still great people.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been great. When we come back, the top 5. This is 365 Sports.
Established in 2007 and independently owned, Alliance Bank Central Texas is committed to helping families and businesses meet their financial goals. From their tellers to their board of directors, they know the importance of superior service and competitive products. Customers have confidence knowing that their financial needs are in good hands. It's your bank, Alliance Bank Central Texas, with 2 Waco locations, 4721 Bosque Boulevard and 191 Archway Drive on Highway 84, and at AllianceBankTexas.com. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
In Texas, there's pea-size hail and baseball-size hail. Guess which one hit our house? We didn't even know where to begin, but we called our Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent, and he was so reassuring. He knew exactly what to do to get our house back into shape and our lives back to normal. Now, we're even more thankful for the roof over our heads.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Three Nations Brewing Company has 16 different beers on draft with a new beer every Friday. It also offers 2 air-conditioned tap rooms, a large indoor beer hall, a second-floor mezzanine offering a great overview of the brewing company and equipment and patio where you can relax under the shade. Plus, you can now experience the new Three Nations Beer Garden Grill on our shaded patio. Grab a cold beer and enjoy a bite from our freshly prepared and delicious menu. Street tacos, quesadillas, freshly cooked burgers and dogs, and veggie burgers too. Nachos and so much more, all prepared and cooked on site. So come visit the award-winning Three Nations Brewing Company on East Vandergrift off I-35 in Carrollton.
I hate my job, but I don't mind getting up in the morning.
dread each day, but I can't wait to get out of bed. You ask me why, and what I'll say to you is true. Well, you can get breakfast tacos at Rudy's Barbecue. Scrambled eggs and brisket, they ain't fooling around. Sausage wrap, son, they're the best in town. Barbecue for breakfast, yes, it's true. Put a smile on your morning at Rudy's Barbecue. Next in line.
This is Paul Catalina's Top 5 at 5:45. Or is it 5:55? Either way, it's the Top 5.
It's actually 5:41 Central Time. And brought to you by Texas Beef House. TexasBeefHouse.com. Where's the best beef in Texas? Your house. And you go to TexasBeefHouse.com.
And damn, is it good. had it at the tailgate before the Texas game.
Yeah. Ooh. So, true or false, you could not get to brisket.
I could not get to the brisket because the Wagyu beef burger was so good and filling.
Yeah. So you were just like, you had to go work and couldn't risk meat sweats.
Yeah, no. I was almost in the meat sweats already.
Yeah, absolutely. And so
either way, very, very quality product. Highly recommend.
There you go. 10 out of 10 from Jack. We give it 5 Pauls.
I'd give it an 11 if the dial went that high.
Exactly. All right. Top 5 things UCF fans who've been great need to know about the Big 12. And, maybe we'll tailor these to different things as we go to different spots if we can. If we go to an old Pac-12 school next year, maybe we can do that. Yeah. We don't know more than UCF does.
We'll see what happens. Maybe we go to the TCU game later this year.
Yeah. Number 5, there is a debate over which places have the best barbecue. And you're talking about mostly this is a Kansas City versus Texas thing.
We don't quite have a North Carolina school or a Memphis school in this conference right now.
No, I think Oklahoma likes to get in this mix a little bit as well. But
no, they can't.
I think they're just doing Texas stuff.
They're just doing Texas stuff, and beyond that, they had a head coach for so long who just murdered brisket.
Yes, absolutely.
Riley murdered his brisket.
I mean, that's
they can't live that down.
And then
even now that he's gone.
Now, look, here's the deal. He not only murdered brisket, he moved out to California and murdered some tuna. So he's like, wherever he goes, like people in New York are like, please don't come here and ruin pizza.
I would hate to see what he did to a pizza.
Oh, gosh.
His burgers are probably concession stand supercharged burgers.
Yeah. I can't even, I don't understand why he takes a picture of it.
To show it off.
Does he think it looks good?
He thinks it's as good as his defenses.
I guess. Number 4. Many fans like you are confused by Cincinnati chili. I know this is a new Big 12 thing, but I wanted to feel, included that, yes, anywhere south of the Mason-Dixon line, we don't understand why you call that chili. I'm interested to try it, but...
What exactly is the difference?
It's got a lot of beans in it. They serve it on top of noodles.
It's the noodle. Yeah, no.
And then they
Paul,
put
growing up in Wisconsin to parents born in Indiana and Illinois, respectively, the chili they made did not have noodles.
Yeah.
This is an Ohio thing, I believe.
Yeah. So... They serve it I'm sure it's really good, kind of a chili mac thing, but I take Ron White, the comedian Ron White.
Yeah.
He said, I know a guy down here in Texas who could come up there with a goat and an onion and kick your ass. So,
oh man.
But that's just how it is. Number 3, it doesn't matter what the record is; they will show up for stuff in Ames.
Yes.
It does not matter. It doesn't matter what the weather is. It doesn't matter what the record is. That Ames might be the best. I don't want to knock it like anybody else. Everybody's got great tailgating scenes, and this one is. But that might be the best tailgating scene in all the Big 12 because it does not matter.
It doesn't matter.
1-11, 11-1, same.
They're pretty damn good people up there. That is the show that's in town. They ride or die.
Yeah.
Even when they're not good.
So when you go up, when you're a UCF fan, say, let's go to Ames. Maybe we'll get good tickets. You probably won't because already sold out. And we might. They're not that good this year. Oh, there's not gonna be. No. They're there. They're there, and they're having a good time. Iowa State fans, some of the best in the entire country, and one of the best tailgate scenes around. Number 2. Yes, you are in fact in a storm of tortillas in Lubbock, Texas.
And yes, actually, no, everything you've heard about them is true.
Yeah, it's all true.
No matter what they say.
It's all true. I think part of it is they want you to feel a little bit surprised, but no, it's true. Those people are rad. Look, and here's the thing.
They do burn cars.
I love Texas Tech fans. I love it because they're so passionate. And look, be who you are, man. Like, just live in it.
Yeah, you. I mean, what?
Yeah, be who you are. But yeah, you were, even though it was like, if you hadn't seen it before and you're there, you're like, is that a tortilla? Yes. And there are more where that came from. Absolutely more where that came from. Number 1, no one's going to miss Texas and OU. So you can make fun of them on the way out. Even if they do, one of them wins the conference, just feel free to make fun. It's okay. We've all, in Big 12 country, made fun. No one's going to miss them. And here's the thing. Texas and OU are not going to miss the Big 12 either, I don't think. I think at this point...
The only reason they might miss the Big 12 is that they don't win at the level they want to, and they see the Big 12 as weaker, which, let's be real, than the SEC, it probably will be.
Yeah, well, look, there's, especially with 16 teams, and this is the case for everybody with 16 teams, though, Jack, there's not going to be as many of those, gimmies on the schedule anymore, because you're just, no matter what league, you're going to play in a tougher place than you were before. It's different. It's... but Texas, you're going to have to roll in they haven't played in the swamp and playing an average Florida team and a bad Florida team in the swamp is still really hard. Playing in Knoxville, really, really hard. That might be where they miss, oh man, I miss, 2015 version of Lawrence, Kansas. that was an easy road game.
I think they might miss being special about the pageantry and the tradition. Those SEC schools have won national titles. You know how many of those schools go as hard or harder on game day? How many of those schools have fan bases that show out and show up in the 80 plus, 100 plus thousand seat stadiums?
Yeah.
Texas will no longer be as unique as they were. Oklahoma will no longer be as unique as they were in the SEC, and that could be something to see.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, thank you so much to everybody who's been involved in Orlando. We're going to end the show a little bit early because we've been skating on thin ice of internet issues here.
Skating on thin ice, very loud venue.
Yeah, very loud venue. It's about to they're about to unleash happy hour on this thing.
I believe happy hour started 48 minutes ago.
Okay, so we're going to end a little bit early, and of course, we'll give our high school football guys some time to get on. But thank you so much to everybody. Darren at Burger U and the people at Burger U yesterday, they were great. The Bounce House Social Eats people have been fantastic. This is a great spot. Look, if you are in Orlando and you want a place to hang out by the university, so if you're any Big 12 team coming in here, Burger U is right by the stadium, and Bounce House Social Eats is 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes away.
About 10 minutes away.
As the crow flies.
Hotel right by it.
Yeah.
Not a bad place to stay.
So there you go. So you've got a great place to come. So if you're here for UCF or anybody else in the Big 12, come on here to Bounce House Social Eats. If you're in Orlando, and this is a relatively new place too. So if you're in Orlando and you're a UCF fan and you haven't been here, you need to get here. Thanks so much to our folks from UCF who came by and gave us the helmet for the studio. That is going to get a place of prominence. So absolutely, thank you so much. This has been 365 Sports. Jack McKenzie has done a great job over these next couple days. Pre-game show tomorrow, 12:30 on the CW. Me and Darby will be around the stadium with Smokey. It is going to be great. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great weekend.